Hi, I'm fat. I got laid off at the start of March, so I had to cancel my gym membership because it's expensive. Also, construction in my neighborhood sucks so bad, transit routes are inconsistent, and it sounds like this everywhere you go. So aside from setting up a video portfolio, crying myself to sleep, assuring myself that yeah, I do deserve to do nothing after already doing nothing for my job searching, I'm only in my 20s, and psyching myself up to reattempt my driving test before it somehow snows again. Seriously, what the hell happened in April? Why not also lose weight? This game was super difficult to find, at least in an untouched state. Since it came out just before COVID, I assume a lot of people just wanted to stay fit and not lose their minds while in quarantine, so I bet it all on eBay. Fortunately, it paid off. The way I did this video was by recording each session and keeping track of what happened, particularly anything notable, but I'll probably just be using this video as an excuse to journal. So there's your warning if you're not a big fan of the soul-searching stuff, because there's only so many days of just lying in bed you can take. I really let my body go. I'm not kidding. Squat 24 times is one of the scarier combinations of words and numbers in recent memory since algebra. The first day consisted entirely of excitement, stretching, suffering, and dread. Aside from that, this is a pretty good exercise game. A decent combination of exercises off the bat, helpful tips, and a good journal of how you did for the session. Definitely helps with the idea that you're actually making progress, because if you were there in the room with me, you really couldn't tell. I chose an intense workout difficulty because Lord knows I need them, and the game really does push you. I ran, squatted, and conquered the first few worlds. This is probably the most I'm going to talk about this game. So there's not much else to say aside from the fact that this is the first time in years since I used this specific recording setup, the lights and green screen and all that. I bought these in 2020 for my first job ever, which involved taking pre-existing articles and making them into shorts. So no, you aren't seeing double. I did this for money. If it wasn't obvious, these were awkward to make. I would rather see the flash from a gunshot and not a camera aimed towards me. But as most people do, I gradually became more used to it, and that's how you see these dumb intro skits. These skits were like 5 to 10 seconds long since the videos were a maximum length of a minute or a minute and a half. Somehow though, later down the line, I became more important at my job and eventually forgo these skits for the sake of efficiency. Do I miss them? No! The next day, I pushed myself as much as I could since I didn't feel like crap or sore as hell when I woke up that morning. The lack of pain was probably because I found out, the day before, I ran out of storage on my main recording device, losing about a half an hour of footage.
That's crazy.
So I spent most of that session refiguring out how to record myself. And if you're wondering how I always have my recording setup prepared, it's totally not because I sleep with the lights untouched. Rest be assured I got everything under control so you can all continue to enjoy watching me suffer for the love of the content creation game.
Wait, I'm not ready.
After a session, I like to try training my dog. She's quite the handful. Something happened on day 3 I never expected would happen. I exercised twice in one day, in the morning and at night. For some reason, I just got a second wind and was raring to boot the game up again. That being said, that second wind didn't last long.
Oh my back, dude.
Thanks to my old job, but mainly my lack of self-care, I developed chronic pain in my right leg since I barely had to move to work. It's like a rubber band being stretched apart constantly or someone squeezing my leg for forever. Funny thing is, some days it goes and some days it's the worst it's ever been. Even more funny, I actually had this pain in my left leg initially, which then disappeared, but now it's back in my right leg. It migrated like the Oregon Trail. If I majored in anything but journalism, I'd probably explain this better, and before you say I should go visit a doctor, I did, and they explained not much better than I already have. Still, it's a nice feeling to want to exercise again, let alone twice in one day, and this game does help with pumping blood into these toothpicks God calls my legs. I had a guest appearance on this day, my cat. For the 4th day, I am surprisingly easing into this game's difficulty faster than I thought. Granted, there are still some times where I have to take a breath in between reps or forget to tilt my camera back up to my face, but I've been dreading the morning of extreme pain that never comes. I also unlocked probably one of my favorite exercises in the game so far. It's glorious. Day 5. I unlocked planking. Yeah, this isn't pretty. After today's session, I went out to my local movie theater to watch Thunderbolts. My review, 7 out of 10, it made me feel empty inside. Also, the popcorn was too expensive. But it wasn't really the movie I was excited for. This was probably the first time I went out of the house alone, not with friends or anything. I never go out that much alone since I was usually holed up in my room doing work. But I don't know why, I barely made any progress in 5 days. I don't look that much different from when I first started, but I don't know. First time in a long time, I just felt a bit better about myself, I guess. The whole thing about feeling a bit better about myself the day before suddenly vanished for some reason. No idea why. Is that normal? You're probably wondering what I do in my spare time aside from recording footage and editing it. Totally not saying this because virtually nothing interesting happened in these 2 days. I have been cooking more often in my household. If I can't work, I might as well cook, right? Besides chores, it gives me a greater purpose in my house. I'm also trying to draw. Keyword, trying. I try to draw, fail, give up, and try again days or maybe months later. But it's not a loop. It's a spiral. A downwards one. And of course, I still try to train my dog. My cat reappears. Day 8 was the first of 2 things. One, it's the first day I realized clap syncing was an actual thing I can do.
Alright, here's the sync. 1, 2, 3.
Instead of manually syncing up my footage in post. And 2, it's a day I felt an actual consequence, I mean change to my body. As I was walking my dog, talking to someone on the phone, my arm literally got stuck in the phone talking position. Progress? No, probably a sign I'm not doing these exercises properly. And it's really hard to talk about this game when the most I can describe per session is that I writhe on the floor occasionally in between overhead bends and planking. Wait, if there's nothing else to talk about, then... Am I free? Huh? Oh shit!